Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This time, I'm doing another SE video about, well, a ship as you can see. And yeah, let's get on with it. So what this ship is, if I were to look at the antenna stuff, it is the Reaper 2 class destroyer, but I guess a better thing for this would be a pocket battleship, as it literally has at the front there, just on the top, 4 triple barrel 300mm gun turrets, because why not? And also as you can see, a line of 100mm gun turrets and some 203s with some Sea Whizzes. Yeah, this thing's armed to the teeth if you can't tell. Though, here's also the other interesting thing to the ship. What you're seeing here is actually a revamp of the original, because this design is actually older than you'd think it is. It's also why it's a lot more detailed than my newer stuff, even though you'd think newer stuff would be more detailed and all that. It's like attention to detail, but I don't know why. For some reason, I just forgot to detail stuff as much as I used to. But whatever. You know, it looks really good. Anyways, the original was quite a bit different. First of all, this ship's design has actually been cleaned up a bunch. Because originally it had a lot of over-designed bits on it, just like a lot of stuff that was just too much visually. So I had to clean it up. Like, for example, there was, like, for example, for whatever reason, there was like a whole like thing that jutted out from like here that connected to there for some reason. It looked really weird. And there's like a whole bunch of other really weird like plates on the ship that I disconnected and all that. There was also some other really strange things. Like, for example, I don't know why, but for some reason I forgot that 12 is divided by 2, which equals 6. For some reason I did not remember that, so for whatever reason I put in for one of these hangar door things an 8 instead of a 6, so it made this strange overlap. Yeah, that's fixed now. Also, the landing gear was a lot more different. It did not look as, I guess the description is better, like the way is better displaced, I guess. Originally there was also like, this is still about the landing gear. Where this ramp was actually lower on the original, because there was a whole extra, like, I think it was like 2 deck levels here-ish or something like that jut down, and then there's like some like wing things going down as well. The reason why those aren't there is because I wanted to, first of all, make a much more better look in terms of the like the landing gear looking like they actually could properly distribute the ship's weight. Because this ship is 147,016 tons. I don't think some dinky, like, I don't think some random bits of, like, of magnetic plates on, like, some fins here, and then, like, some 2 regular SE landing gear here on, like, what was some, honestly, really strange looking bit that awkwardly jutted out on the bottom here. So now we get this Because basically this whole entire bottom section here in the center part of the hull was entirely reworked. Now you have what is essentially a flat section, flat-ish, as you have like these little bits here, and then that, and then this bit here. But for oh god, a yawn. I think there was also even like 2 extra gun turrets, like 2 extra 300mm gun turrets, slash like 400 mils, because yes, there used to be 400mm gun turrets on the ship that I removed for the sake of like making a more unified looking gun battery. And also some of them just looked really strangely placed. Also, these just look better on the ship. Well, actually, yeah, they do, because, like, the 400mm, since they were bigger, it was a lot more strange looking to see on this ship. Because, like, they didn't always fit in the best spot. Also, speaking of weaponry, I actually removed an entire... because I didn't have a certain mod loaded, it meant that I basically removed an entire set of weaponry on the ship, which actually is kind of purposeful, because there was a bunch of PDCs, like point defense guns, all over the ship that just kind of were like placed willy-nilly and looked really strange. And, yeah, it did not look good. There was also a couple other places where there was just straight up weapon spam. Like, for example, between, like where each of these, like, dark gray, like, plates of, like, metal are, there used to have been, like, a line of... It was, like, a pattern of 100mm cannon and 30mm Sea Whiz, like, on this side is like this like strange broadside. It was utterly ridiculous. But now, because I decide, you know what would make the weaponry actually make more sense, I decided to only have it so the only bit of Sea Whiz spam there is on here, and here actually makes sense. Is this is kind of more like an anti-aircraft / flak section, as this is technically a flak turret. Yeah, look at that flak. Yeah, it's technically a flak turret. Well, it's similar to like the 127mm gun turrets on like an Iowa, like the secondary like dual-purpose guns. Yeah, it's kind of similar to those. Except this is a bigger version, basically. A bigger, sci-fi version. Because, you know what? Reasons. But, yeah, the other bits of, like, weapon spam were also, like... I think there was also some other bits, like, up here. Right in the line of sight of the, captain. Or, I guess, more accuracy-wise would be the helmsman. We'd be sitting in that chair in the middle. Also, don't worry, I'll talk more about the bridge, because there's some interesting stuff going on there, but, there's also some other really strange things going on here. Like, for example, at one point, I had, like, 2 100mm gun turrets, like, flanking this Sea Whiz. Not sure why I did, but I did. Now there isn't. There was also a bunch of, like, other guns dotted on here. Like, for example, I think there was, like, an extra, like, 300mm, like, 400mm, like, here originally that I removed. For better, like, for more, for a more, just, like, better look, in general, plus it would have just been better in terms of combat-wise anyways. Plus, like, this ship is already ridiculously powerful anyways, like, it only needed less weapons, not more. It needed less weapons. Also, originally, these missiles weren't here. Also, you'll realize that there's actually I'm actually using a different weapon mod. That's because at the time I was making this, I was using a lot of Halo weapons, which is why if you were to look at some of my earlier stuff, if I even have anything about those, they would have had like some retractable stuff along with those PDCs that also could retract, even though like a good chunk of the other guns couldn't retract, so it's kind of was like pointless, because it was like, why bother having retracting weaponry if like only like half of it could retract, and the other half would just be sticking out. But yeah, for example, you got these like missiles and like this Mac gun. Now, in the actual ship itself, this gun is completely differently named, as I will show you. It is named completely differently, as it is called the K-1000 Drakentotter, my pronunciation, coil gun. It is completely differently named, even though, you know, it's one of these Series 8 Max from that Halo weapons mod I was on about. Also, another difference between this and the original is there was a lot more of those like impulse drives there dotted on the ship's hull. There was like, originally on the bottom there was like an ungodly amount. It looked really bad. So, you know, yeah. Anyways, I guess I can talk about this upper section of the ship now, as I'm basically done talking about the weapons. Originally, these windows weren't here. Yeah, these windows weren't here originally. It was just like a straight line of these catwalk blocks, like, throughout here. The reason why I added these is because I wanted it so you could actually see out better in the bridge. Because I realized there was only just the front bridge window here, and this had a blast door that would close up. And since, you know, people want to be people, want to see out of windows, I decided, why not have an extra set of windows with, like, what is essentially an armored covering on them? I mean, still realistically, you'd still get, like, if you got like a blast through here, you'd still absolutely get annihilated. Because, you know, all it really is just like a bit of metal and a bit of bulletproof glass, although it'd probably be more realistically polycarbonate because reasons. Also, don't mind about that, or better yet, this. I'm thinking of basically doing this differently. In fact, I might just literally do it right here, in the middle of recording, because it's not the first time I've done something like this. There you go, that looks better. And let me do it, let me mess with, like, this spot over here as well. For the sake of the eyes of, my potential viewers. Okay, where's the block I'm looking for? Aha! There we go, that looks better. Already looks much better. Hey, yeah, look at that. Much better. Now it actually, like, fits better with the ship's, like, bridge section. Also, speaking of the bridge again, I'm actually going to do... I haven't fully done this yet. I'm going to do a little cool system where if you activate what is essentially like a bridge like battle mode, it will make these blast doors obviously close up and, you know, close off this little section of the ship that has glass. This big ass window. So the captain and all that can actually be protected properly. Well, helmsman and all the other bridge crew. Although, depending on how the geo-military does their stuff, or just like, you know, protocols and stuff like that, more than likely they would actually be in the CIC where it's more armored. For, you know, reasons. And, yeah, this... I've got a yawn. Screw yawns. Anyways, again, back to me talking about that battle mode thing, the blast doors. Originally, like, you know, the original version had this, obviously. It still had this on the original version. It's just, the interesting part is, the button that operated just only operated just as blast doors. There's nothing special. There's nothing else special going on with it. I'm planning to have it, from SM's request, because SM, helped give me some ideas of the ship as well to make it better, to make it so it has a system where it would play an alarm through that speaker there, and there's like some lights back there, and like a little divot in the roof, where it would basically look like you're in like a full alert mode or whatever. I haven't fully added that in yet. I haven't fully done it yet, right, for at the moment, but I'm going to do it because it'd be really cool. And yeah, that's like enough of this particular part of the superstructure. Another part that's actually kind of different is this section of the superstructure. Originally, there's like those PDCs I was talking about throughout here, if I remember correctly. But also, this was a bit more blockier. It wasn't as, like, you know, smoothly built where it had like this angle here originally. It was just like a half block, and you also didn't have this extra bit that jut out with like this little ramp here. It was just straight up just flat. It was just flat and nothing else, and that was it. Now you do. Also, originally this was, the angle for this was a bit more back. So it was like, the angle started out like here, and then like, ended, I don't know, here-ish. So it was a bit more different. But since I wanted to have this ramp, I made it so it was like this. So, you know, yeah, now you have this little airlock. Yay. Airlock. Also, if you were to go through here, you'll notice doors automatically close. The reason why I tell you to notice that is because the original didn't have that. I added a script as on the reach, that, like, the auto door closing script. You know, multiple people use it on SE. Speaking of doors, there originally was a door here also. It's driving me nuts how that, oh my god. There we go. There was a door originally here that I removed because it was like, it was one of those like, it was one of those bulkhead doors from like a boat mod pack that had like little bulkhead doors that had throughout the ship that are now gone and replaced with those with those doors. And yeah. Also, this was a bit more blockier because I had a door here originally. Now I have it so it's just this because the reason why this is, you know, the way it is because this is literally just, as you can tell, a mess hole. It's also why it isn't, it's also why it doesn't have any blast doors here is because it's a mess hole. Like, I mean, it's kind of secondary to the ship's purpose. Also, you get kind of a cool thing with the roof where it like goes, where it opens up in stages. Like, you get this where it's like the regular deck height, and then you get that where it's like that, and then hold on, I'm smacking with a part of the thing, and then you get this. Ain't that cool? And then it leads in here. Haha, yeah. Okay, that looks really cool. Yeah, don't mind the black hole that's out there. Good thing black holes in SC don't function the way they do in Stargate. Where, if there's like if you're like near it, right now, time dilation would screw me over. Well, to me, time would function for the most part the same, but anywhere else it would be I'd be in slow-mo basically. Also, this is another part of the ship that's different. Might not hold on, I'm just gonna F8 camera through the interior because, you know, reasons, for time reasons and all that. Let's see. Originally, these bits weren't angled, they were more blockier. In here, it was a bit more different. These seats were more out here and like facing that way, I think. This was further here. The roof was a bit more different looking, if I remember correctly. It was like just straight flat metal. Now it's not. That looks a lot more interesting. And you can also see where the auto door script is. Planning to also add like that one like simple integrity script on the ship that the Reach also has. They'll have like as well as maybe a radar script where it would have like screens coming down from the ceiling that like show you different things. Be pretty cool. Oh yeah, in here, this, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, this section of the ship has always been a cryo room. It's just the cryo tubes were different originally. Because for whatever reason, I don't know why I decided to do it like this, but for whatever reason, I decided to have it so the cryo tubes were some modded ones. So it meant that you also had to download, guess what? Another mod. Oh boy. I mean, I love mods in this game, but like sometimes I overuse them. Also, if you see instances where like the interior walls like kind of dip in like that, a lot of the time it wasn't built like this, it was more blockier. So, you know, yeah. Also, these are a bunch of toilets. Crew comfort, eh? Speaking of which, I should probably add like some potted plants or something like that in here. Kind of like the Reach. I get, like, some of this. This is probably, like, general crew quarters. Like, general crew cryo or something like that. And this is, like, officers. I wonder if there's another cryo room. I'm pretty sure there is. But I don't remember. I don't know, it might be. Anyways, that's as far as I can remember that I can tell you about this ship. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you guys in the next video, whenever that is. Do the usual things of subscribing and all that. Have fun. Link to our Discord server down below. Add some YouTube channels also down below. Bye-bye!